Going to give him a wave?
We're good.
Okay. And we will start the meeting at 5:33. Public appearances. Wendy, do we have anything?
We do not.
Okay. Then we'll move for, I need an approval of the minutes.
Approve.
Thank you. Discussion? Any clarifications? All in favor of passing the August 2023 minutes, say aye.
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 And I will abstain because I haven't read them. Okay? Crazy, crazy 2 weeks. Number 4, treasurer's report. Wendy, you usually like to,
Let's do a motion. I'm trying to be better about this. Let's do a motion first.
okay. May I have a motion to approve the financial register and overview, please, from June?
I move approval.
Thank you, Jim.
All right, so going through a couple of things to point out in the register. You'll notice that we've got some charges from the ALA conference. So we sent Kristen Garvey, who is our youth services manager, and Rebecca Swanson is one of our reference librarians, sent them to Chicago to the American Library Association conference. So we saw the registration charges a while ago, but this is the actual cost for the hotel and transportation. They were able to take the train from Harvard, so they drove to Harvard, Illinois, took the train down to Chicago and back. So it's a fantastic way for us to get people there and back without airfare. We just had them present at a manager's meeting this afternoon with some of the just information that they brought back from different sessions they went to. ALA is an interesting one because it is all types of libraries. So sometimes you end up in sessions that are really more geared toward academic libraries or school libraries, but they brought back some really good ideas for things. So I think that's a really good use of our funds. We also did get, each of them got, I think, a $400 scholarship they call it through South Central to offset some of the fees. So that was really good too. The other thing I wanted to point out is in account 355, there's a Fact TV charge there that is software and hardware to replace the digital signage system in the building. My disappointment with this is that I had hoped this was going to be up and running last January, and we still don't have it. I think there is some sort of squabble going on between Fact TV and IT about how to deal with firewalls or something. Our current software is running the slides that we have had on it for years now and unable to be updated because it is so out of date. So the sooner we can get this done, the better. I'm trying to help that along, but I don't know how fast we'll get that done. The cost here was $14.92. It ended up being, I think, $240 more than this that we will, I think, see a budget amendment come through, which is not a big deal. Other than that, I think everything is fairly routine. Are there any questions? Let's look at the overview as well. Just wanted to note that life insurance that came in? Health insurance is very low for June. That's because we had a 3 payment in April, so it just has to even out to 24 in a year. So that's nothing to worry about. I would also point out that the interest income still looks amazing because we budgeted $2,000 and we have $54,000. So that's great. That'll go into fund balance. We'll be able to use that for future projects. Any questions? Okay.
And I will call the questions. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
And I will abstain again. Thank you. Next, we have unfinished business. We actually do have
I
some
know.
unfinished
Look at
business
that.
for the first time in years. The revised Dane County Library Standards.
All right, so let's have a motion first.
I will motion to approve.
Okay, so this is something that we looked at last month, and I told you we didn't have to vote on it, and that was what I had been told by the Dane County librarian, and then she came back about a week and a half ago and said, oh, oopsie, we do need a resolution to say that we agree to this so that the county board, if all the local boards approve, they can approve it as well. So nothing has changed, nothing to really talk about here other than we did need an actual vote. So I apologize for the confusion there. Any questions about this?
All in favor of passing the service mission, the library standards that we saw last month, say aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Go to new business, Resolution R13-23, requesting exemption from the county library tax.
I move approval.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is a very standard resolution. It is the one that we do every year, and it is basically saying that we don't have to pay the county library tax, which the last time we paid it in 2010 was, I think, close to $1 million. It's based on population size, so it would be more now. Because we meet the standards that we just voted on, we don't have to pay the tax because we're providing our own services. So this is good for us. We would never want to pay the tax. Please vote yes.
All in favor of saving us money by passing the exemption from the county library tax, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Draft of the 2024 budget.
All right, can we, I think, do a motion first also on this one?
I will motion to approve the draft of the 2024 budget.
All right, so this is still not final. It is still a draft. I have a phone call just scheduled with Misty tomorrow to talk about numbers. We're getting closer. I think the health insurance numbers came in. It was a 7.3% increase, which is a lot, but not nearly as much as it has been in some counties around us. So we're kind of lucky in that way. Still sort of buttoning up the IT costs. So we sort of have to wait for other department budgets to be final before we have those numbers for our budget. So we're sort of the last one, I think, that usually is finalized. This will go to council to be approved in, I believe, early November. We are currently just shy, so we are balancing. We have a $2,000 surplus. I think that will change. The donation from the Friends for the summer outreach assistance is included here, but the cost is not. So there will be another $3,000 that gets added here. So Misty and I will just have to work on some very last minute updating of a couple of numbers to make sure that we balance. But it looks good at this point. I ended up taking, so we spend about $12,000 a year on furniture. So we're replacing a couple of task chairs, some chairs in the children's department. And we've been taking that out of operating. I decided for next year to take that out of fund balance. I think that's a good use of money that we have saved. So that allowed me to balance it pretty easily. So I'm happy with how it looks. I think we're in good shape. I will bring this back, obviously, after the council has approved it.
So do you want us to approve the draft?
Yes, please.
Okay. Is there anything that she can clarify for anyone? All in favor then, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. President's report, I will speak to the board about all my mistakes when we go into private session, closed session. So library director report.
I think everything that I have to report is under facilities this month.
Okay. Then we'll go to committee reports, strategic planning.
Nothing to report there.
Wendy, can you describe, one of the comments that came up involved, do we have a 5-year plan or a 10-year plan? And some of the new board members did not know that. So could you
So
possibly?
the calendar
go into
that
a
we
little bit?
presented, was it last month or the month before, is the strategic planning calendar. So we have a 5-year strategic plan. We're right at the tail end of it, so that calendar is sort of the details of what has been done with the strategic plan.
So 5-year plan,
So that will end this year, and we will spend probably most of next year crafting the next one.
great. And so the sorter, because that question came up, the sorter was in the 5-year plan or the one even before that? Because I know you knew it was.
Yeah, the sorted,
Coming up.
I think gets included in the strategic plan, but is sort of just an overall going to happen no matter whether it's in the plan or not.
Because we
Like,
knew it
that's an
had a
operational-
life expectancy.
Right,
Okay, thank you.
right, yep.
Then we'll move to facilities.
Okay, so not a lot of good news, some good news, mostly not. The air handler is not the chiller, but it works with the chiller. It's what blows air, hot or cold, around the building. One of the motors failed probably 2.5 weeks ago now. Harker came out, removed it. They're rebuilding it, which is less expensive than getting a new one. It is not back yet. In the process of that happening, the software that allows us to see what the chiller and the air handler are doing failed. So Kevin could see the overall temperature in the building, but not anything else, so couldn't really control anything. So ControlWorks came out, looked at that. They replaced a couple of control boxes for about $500 each. That did not fix the problem. They said we needed a new Jace, which I thought was a fake word, but isn't. And it cost $7,000. So we're getting a new one of those. That came in last week, but they don't have the license to hook it up yet. So we are still waiting for both of those to be fixed. It has been mostly cold in the building, which seems counterintuitive. We have just turned off the heating altogether because it gets very humid with the heat on. The heat usually in every room you've got a VAV that is kind of balancing heating and cooling. So we turned the heat off completely. I finally Kevin was on vacation and I had to send him a text because it was 64 degrees in my office, and I thought we maybe need to turn the heat back on, so we did, and we've been okay for the last couple of days. This does not make me feel great about what's going to happen over the winter. The update on the chiller is that that's been pushed off till April because they can't get it here in October as we expected. The upside of that is that we aren't going to have 10 days without heating in the middle of the winter. The downside is if the current chiller doesn't function through the winter. We now own 28 space heaters, which is the emergency plan to keep the building above freezing is what that will do. So I have a meeting scheduled with the city administrator, building inspection to talk about codes, fire chief to talk about safety, to see if it really does fail, what we're looking at as far as needing to close, depending on what temperature it is outside. I thought OSHA for sure would tell us exactly what temperature in the building we could be here for, but they really don't. So we're going to get this whole group together to decide what the parameters are. So I will keep you posted on that. Fingers crossed that after we get the air handler working, we were doing okay before that happened. So the chiller is limping along, doing okay, but when we can't do anything with the air that's coming out of that, that's sort of the problem we're at right now. So I would say we probably spent $10,000 on the air handler in the last 2 weeks. We have the money. It doesn't bode well for what I'm about to say about the solar array. The solar array is not working at all. All 3 of the inverters are out. We thought it was 2. We thought we had replacement inverters to put up. We would just have to pay for the labor to do that, but it turns out that Huawei said they shipped them but didn't. Arch Electric is who we work with, and they are getting, phone numbers are disconnected, emails are not coming back. So I think we are not getting new inverters. So we have asked Arch, can we use a different brand of inverter with our solar array? And they said yes, but you would have to re-rack and rewire all 302 panels. They are going to cost that out for us. We haven't gotten the quote yet. We're guessing $10,000 to $15,000 per inverter. My feelings right now are pretty strong that we don't put another $50,000 into an array that has not really paid off for us already. It's 5 years old is all, so I don't know. I think what Chad Brecklin's plan, city administrator, is we are not the only building having this problem, so I think there's 2 other inverters that are out. So they are going to kind of put that together as a cost and take it to the council and see what the council wants to do. So I think we're just kind of on hold. I don't know. It's frustrating. It's very frustrating.
Is the city attorney involved?
Yes. There is a lawsuit, class action lawsuit, that we will be a part of.
Against Arch?
No, against Huawei. Arch is helping us with it.
Gotcha.
I didn't understand this fully, but apparently Huawei was asked to stop doing business in the U.S. because of their business practices. So I don't know. I don't think that changes anything. I mean, it certainly, we were offered a 20-year warranty on all of the parts, and now we have nothing, so it's not great. So I'm sorry for that update. I saved the best for the last. We're getting new carpet in the sorter room on Tuesday. Yay! So we've decided that we're going to cut the new hole in the wall for the new sorter interface. That's coming. We got a date for that. That's coming. I believe the install will start on the 28th of November. That's great. They're looking at a week and a half to install. So what we're going to do is close the drive-through book drop on Monday morning. this coming week, we're gonna cut the hole bigger and then cover it, so we're ready to go when they get here. But since we have to close it down for the carpet anyway, we're just gonna get all that done. Kevin feels like he needs to put more blocking in it. It's a taller interface than the current one, so we'll take the current one out, do what we need to do. Public Works will come, cut the bricks. Kevin and his guys will put the blocking in, put the old one back in, cover up the new hole, and hook it back up with new carpet in there. And then we'll sit tight with that until the 28th of November, and then we'll move forward with disassembling this one and getting the new one in. So that all seems to be going very well. It's in shipment right now from Denmark. And that's all I have for facilities. Sorry, that's a lot. It's been a busy month. Any questions about that?
Yeah, so the blower being out. So the plan is we stay open unless it gets too cold?
I think.
And I guess we're not too worried about it getting too hot at this point. I mean, maybe that's.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
We did, when this happened, went out and bought 12 fans, so like oscillating, like floor on a stand fan. So we've got those around the library. If we need them, we really haven't, because really what we're seeing is that it's being too cold is, even now, is kind of the problem. So I think being too hot is not a thing.
Okay, yeah,
So that's good.
right. And
That's-
I'd
I
be
mean,
worried
half-
about the books
right.
and stuff because that's
Yeah, that's,
humidity when
Yeah.
it gets hot, yeah.
Yeah, we've had times where like the books start to get wavy and we get nervous, but that didn't, to my knowledge, didn't happen this time.
Okay.
So we're managing as best we can. I really think we'll be okay once we get the motor and the Jace.
And we think that's coming soon. Did they have an
Yes.
estimate on that one?
The motor I thought was going to be in by now.
Okay.
Kevin is,
So it's like soon?
yes.
Okay.
Yes, I think it should be this week or early next
Okay.
week. And the Jace is making me crazy because it's just software, like they have it, they just can't hook it up yet. So they are working on that. I think we'll have all of this wrapped up by next week.
Okay, okay.
I have a question about winter.
Yes.
And if things go wrong,
Yes.
because things seem to be going wrong with the
Yes.
building, so
Right.
let's go to the worst-case scenario.
Yes.
Are these heaters going to be in the ceiling, so pipes
No.
don't freeze?
So
And,
no, they sit on the floor. I will
Okay.
say the good news is I bought one to test it because as a child of the 80s, like I picture like kerosene heaters that are going to burn the house down. Like that's what I grew up with. And so I was real iffy about it. So I bought one. They were on sale because it was 90 degrees outside. So that was good. Got them for $100 a piece. And I ran it in the back room. It only like the vent gets even warm. The rest of it stays cool. It's got a remote control. It's a real blocky thing, so you can't knock it over. I feel like they're safe to use, so that's good. What Strand gave us was a floor plan with plug them in these places on these circuits, so we don't blow any circuits, but also that we're heating the building above freezing. So that should keep the pipes from freezing. Kevin says we would also probably be popping a lot of ceiling tiles to get more air circulating. The meeting that we're going to have with the big group is if it is too cold to have staff or patrons in here, we can empty the water system. We've done that for a plumbing thing recently, so we know how to do that, and that's fine, but it's the fire safety system. Typically, you don't empty those ever, whether you're full or not, but if it's the building, like if it's those things freezing and cracking versus having it empty, that's a call that we'll have to decide. I think the fact that we're going to decide all this ahead of time means it won't happen.
yeah,
I also feel like, the building will retain heat to a certain degree. So it's not like we're going to be at outside temperatures. I think a polar vortex would be the worst thing that could happen. I know, like I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're going
About
to
like
even
4
say
months.
those two words?
right.
You know.
We got
Right.
some time.
okay, so you have a plan, and
We have as
hopefully,
much of a plan, I think, as we can.
hopefully we won't need the plan.
Right. Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
then, is there anything else Wendy can either share with us or clarify?
No.
Or do we want her to,
Has anybody actually noticed that the AC is out or anything? Because I didn't. I wouldn't have even guessed.
I think that we've had some people say that it's too cold.
Okay.
But that's it.
Okay.
I saw a fan somewhere last
Yeah.
week, and I was like, oh, there's.
Yeah. We have ceiling fans up here in the clear story on the second floor, and those put out a lot of air movement. So I think that sort of helped. I how I came in the day that the motor went out, I came in and was like, because I'm away from all of the machinery, like, it's like deadly quiet in my office, like something's not right. And I was texting Kevin, like, something's not going. And he was like, no, well, the temperature's fine. I'm like, right, but something's not right. But no, we haven't, I think that sometimes people are cold, but not terribly. It gets stagnant, like it gets, like when there's no air moving, like when the heat was on, like then it sort of got humid, but also it was just sort of like sitting. So that was kind of a yucky feeling, but I don't think patrons are noticing as much as staff.
Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed.
Yeah.
I have one more question.
Yes.
Because I am a doomsayer. What's our insurance if a pipe does break and books do?
We should be fully insured, but I'm going to add that to my list of questions for that meeting. So I will find out exactly what that would be.
Similarly, would the property insurance cover anything with the solar array?
I don't think so, but I'll ask. It's a good question. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question for the city attorney. I will pose that question.
Do you know if we have business continuation insurance? Not really a revenue generating business, but I don't know.
I don't think so, but I will ask that too. I have not heard of it, but that doesn't mean anything, really.
Are there any South Central standards that we would miss by having to close for up to, like, how many days can we be closed?
I don't think so. So when we talk about hours, like that is one of the standards, but it is sort of your projected hours for the whole year. So I don't think when we were closed for COVID, they didn't count it against us. So no, I think we would be fine. I think an emergency is an emergency. And I really don't think that it'll come to that. But I like to be prepared for it in case it does.
Well, thank you for
Yeah.
all your information, and we will move to closed session. And we'll see you I will not. We're not going to have the October meeting.
Yes.
So we'll
This
see
is
you all in
on the
November.
agenda, but just so everybody,
Right.
if you haven't seen it, we have canceled the October meeting. Toby's out of the country. I'm headed out of town, and what we usually do in October is the resolution that we just did. So it's an easy one to skip.
This is very early for me to give you notice then, but I will be out of town for the November meeting.
Okay. I will make note.
So we'll see you in December.
All right.
Hopefully, unless it's too cold.
Yeah, really?
We might be on Zoom. We'll see.
Well, yeah. Be meeting in my house. Okay.
And when you go, whoever makes this motion, please read the whole thing in total.
Okay. So do we need to tell him we're going to close session first and then read the motion?
No, read the motion.
first.
Okay, then, Jim, thank you for volunteering to read that motion.
Well, now I got to get to it. Okay. I move we go into closed session pursuant to Section 19.85, Parent 1, Parent C, Wisconsin statutes. The commission will move into closed sessions for the purpose of considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility, more specifically to discuss a personnel issue, parent evaluation of the director.
Thank you. All in favor of moving to closed session, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Thank you, everyone.
I'm getting a reflection. Yes?
Yep.
Okay. So we are, motion to come out of closed session. Do it again. Motion by Patrick. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I need a motion to adjourn until our November 15th meeting at 5:30 PM.
I move adjournment.
Thank you. All in favor of adjourning, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.